Hello everybody, this is Frank Bobber and welcome to the special presentation of my experience so far at the Monza World Class Karting track at the Foxwoods Resort Casino. I found out about this place when I heard from my buddy Tyler Tomasi when he told me that he was taking part in an event that would be hosted here on June 27th. Specifically, this was the charity race hosted by NASCAR Cup Series driver Kyle Larson. When I found out that Monza itself was supplying cars for the public to use, I immediately jumped on an opportunity to get some racing experience. My dad supported me in this and paid the $100 entry fee. On the same day, we went to Seagull Speedway and talked to Tyler about it. He mentioned that the karts were hard to drive, but I wasn't so sure. The following day, we went to Monza, don't get it confused with the Grand Prix track in Italy by the way, and checked the place out. It looked like a blast from where I could watch, and soon after I would be one of the drivers out on track. After I went through a briefing, which is something that all first-time drivers have to go through, I then put on one of the available fire suits they had there. These were only optional, but I put on one anyway to feel more like a real racing driver. Then I walked to trackside, put on a helmet and neck brace, and got strapped into the cart that had been assigned for the session. I guess now I should mention the fact that the races, or sessions that happen here, are by time attacks. They work like a group qualifying session where so many people go out at once, and everyone competes for position based on lap times, and the driver who sets the fastest lap time gets credited for the win. I wasn't a big fan of this as I'm more of a racer type of guy who likes to push their way through the field to get to the checkered flag before anyone else does, but I went on with it anyway. Whilst I was sitting on pit road in my assigned kart, I had no idea what to expect. Were the karts how the drivers tell them made them out to be, or not so much? Well, as the Grand Tour quote goes, what could possibly go wrong? So enough, me and all the other fellow racers were allowed onto the track. Coming off a pit road exit, I immediately hit the gas and got to a few other guys and spun around as a result. But I quickly got back up as soon as one of the track officials unstuck me from the wall. Then I spent the rest of the session getting a grip of the kart and the track. The track itself is a challenging one with many switchback combos and hairpin turns. The most difficult part of the track was the final two turns, which came from a mini straight which led into a tight corner and then a sweeper. After that though came the start-finish line and then a 90-degree turn which led onto the only long straight on the whole track. I had a blast going around the track as for the first time in my life I was let loose in a real-life vehicle where I was able to put all of my skills I gained from racing virtual cars for the past 6 years to the test. So then the session ended after 8 minutes, and soon after I would be going out again as my dad paid for 2 sessions. In my first session though, I set a best time of about 48 seconds, so about 12 seconds off of the best lap time ever. The first session was my chance to see what this track and what the karts were like. In the second session, I'd be able to set a new personal best lap time.
25. He's right there in second position. Strapping them all in. He said this is a blast. Got them all locked in with the safety harness. Helmet, neck brace. Started up his motor. There he is.
Unfortunately, there isn't much good footage from the session as seen here, but I was at least able to improve my best time by a lot, 42.3 seconds. After that, we called it a day and left the place, having learned a few things. Next weekend, we returned to Monza, looking to practice some more. We showed up right when the place opened, and this time I had a couple goals in mind. The first goal was to avoid the mud-slow race to prevent spinning out, as spinning out would cost valuable seconds, and the second was to not lock off the brakes. It just so happens that these karts have no ABS, and if you hit the brakes too hard, your rear wheels will lock up, causing the rear end to step out. However, there were no other racers there yet, and so for my first session, I would go by myself on track, and would be able to set a monster's lap time in the same way that Ayrton Senna did in Monaco in 1988. And I did, with a new personal best lap time of 41.25 seconds. Once again, soon after I'll be going out again, but this time with one other racer. This made me have the idea to keep up behind this other racer, as I figured he was an experienced one, so I could follow his racing line and figure out a few more things about the track, so I'd let him go past me coming off a paved road exit. Turns out that this was a mistake, as he was not what I thought, so I tried to pass him. This proved to be a challenge with how narrow the track is, and in most places it's hard to go too wide. Eventually I was able to do it, but soon after, going up the last hill, I hit the brakes too hard and went around. From there on out, I felt like the rear grip on these karts was non-existent, as the thing was constantly stepping on me whenever I took a corner. I was starting to find the same challenge that Tyler was talking about. After what felt like a short time, the session ended, and once again we called it a day and left. This time I had learned some new things and was more confident heading into the event itself. Race day had arrived, and my expectations weren't super high. While in the past 2 times going to Monza I had learned lots of things, I was now going up the best drivers that had ever raced in Monza. I had little idea how I would compare with them, but now that we're at the point in this video where I talk about how the event went, now it is time where I explain the event format. It consisted of 6 heats and 1 feature. There were 7 to 8 people in each heat, and the races were split up into each heat through color codes. Each race would get a t-shirt colored in whichever heat that whichever racer would be in, based on a pre-made roster. I was on Team Blue and Tyler was on Team Red. From here, everyone who finished in the top 2 in each heat would make it into the feature. And as an added throw-in, 2 more racers who didn't finish in the top 2 in their respective heats would make it in through a random draw. I wasn't so sure about the random draw thing, but after a while I forgot about it. We registered into the event and soon met up with Tyler and his mom and dad. It was about an hour until the heat started, so until then me and Tyler bantered back and forth, talked about race strategy, and watched what was going on track.
Tyler's dad. This is the check-in for the drivers. This is the check-in for the spectators. Getting set up for lunch. This is the buffet table.
One thing I realized is that not only was Kyle Larson going to be here, but also the media. Tyler was quite interested in this, but I quickly grew bored of watching, so I'll leave in the highlights and then get on to the important stuff.
Supposed to be live on TV. This is a benefit, charity.
He's going to be absolutely terrible. Every time we use each other,
We're going to kind of work things today. You guys have all been split up into teams. We're going to run 6 qualifying races. We will announce for each team, but make sure that you're available out there trackside so we can get these races one right after the other and get them done, okay? First thing I need to do right now, though, if it is your first time racing with us, if you just signed up with us today, I need you to do me a favor, and we're going to bring you into the briefing room right here. So I need everyone to come around this side and have a seat in the briefing room. All right?
Then came the heats. I was excited and nervous at the same time. I had no idea if I was going to make it or not, but I was about to find out. I was strapped in, and when I was allowed to, I headed out onto the track. After a couple laps, I looked at the board above the start-finish line, and it looked like I was in dead last. I was wondering to myself if I was that bad. Turns out that it was actually almost the complete opposite. When the session ended, I was disappointed, but my disappointment turned into surprise when I found out that I only just made it into the feature. I was blown away and was speechless. After a little while, Tyler's heat came. In the end, he got P1, but I wasn't surprised. He knew his way around Monza better than most people did.
Proud papa, right?
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it.
3 laps to go. You got you. Unbelievable. With 3 laps to go, you got him. The third to last lap. You got first. Like 38.3 something, 38.4 something. But you had
It's a buffet table.
After that, lunch was served.
Look at that, ham, turkey.
Yep.
There's the buns, you can make a sandwich. Got 3 salads.
Then after a little while, the man in blue showed up. Me and Tyler got a clear view of him walking by. Unfortunately, Dag didn't, as his view was blocked by loads of people wanting to get a look at Kyle. For me though, watching Kyle walk by was like watching a train go by. It was a sight that I couldn't believe I was seeing in person. I was seeing an actual celebrity with my own eyes, and not through a TV screen or a YouTube video. Then things got a bit odd when there was a race with all of the media people, and Kyle. I guess since Kyle was there, the media also wanted to have a taste of Monza, just for the fun of it. To the surprise of no one, the media crew weren't great, and Kyle won by a long shot. Then came the feature race, the main event, the thing that all of us drivers had signed up for. I was still stunned by the fact that I had made the feature based on pure talent and nothing more, but now I was going up against some of the best who had ever lapped Monza. I knew I wasn't going to stack up very well, so I was just going to have a bit of fun now. The race began, and almost immediately I ran into a problem. The adjustable pedals weren't secured properly and came loose while I was on my opening lap. I couldn't drive properly with this problem, so I pulled on the pit road, got my problem taken care of, and headed back out. After a while, despite that there were 14 drivers out there, I was all by myself for a little while, until soon enough the faster drivers caught up and passed me. Some were a bit aggressive and gave me a taste of my own medicine. Near the end of the session, however, I saw Kyle and tried to race him, but he was too fast for me and got away. A short time after that though, I was bumped out of the way by someone, so I tried to bump the other driver back in question. But the session ended a short time after, so I gave this driver a tap on the rear coming onto pit road. I then realized quickly after that the driver in question was Tyler of all drivers. After the race ended, then came some post-race festivities.
Incentive to come back to New England to be able to work exactly on this track. We'll get you back to the reigning champ.
No, that was fun. I wanted to go out and follow the past guy just to rode us on by once. So hopefully sometime they'll let me. Maybe they'll kick Lumen out and I can race.
All right, everybody look straight ahead and give us a nice smile, Team Blue. Up next is Team Red. Excellent, thank you, Team Blue. Team Red's up on deck now. All right, everybody look straight ahead, give us your best smile.
Actually, I just need you guys to smile. 3, 1, 2.
Perfect. Good. All right, everybody look straight ahead and give us a nice smile.
3, 1, 2, 3. We're good.
Thank you. All right, Purple, straight ahead, give us a nice smile.
3, 1, 2, 3. You got it. Straight ahead on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Great, thank you all very much.
And that was it. The event ended and we all went home. I was wore out but was happy that I at least made the feature. And that concludes the sequence of events of me at Monza. From my experience here so far, I've come to really like this place. I like its mod style and the challenge that it has to learn the track. And I will definitely return to this place in the near future, but hopefully on a day when Tyler's going so I can learn his racing line and get a better lap time myself. If you live somewhat close to Monza, I highly suggest that you check this place out if you haven't already. It's well worth the money, and if you want to be a professional race car driver someday, like me, this is a great place to start. And that is going to do it for this video, so I do hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. That last part wasn't scripted, by the way.